Hi, you guys. Welcome to Cancerian Chronicles. Welcome back. This is Misty, and we are going to jump into your love and relationship forecasts for May 13th through May 19th. And it is for you, whether you're single, whether you are entangled, emotionally unavailable, or somewhere in between. We are about to break it all down. I'm going to try to have the timestamps shortly if they're not there already. So just hang tight, and don't forget to watch for not just your sun sign. Also check out your other placements such as your moon, your Venus, and your rising. And if you just want to be nosy, you're feeling a little bit curious, wanting to check up on your partner, your ex, go ahead and watch their sign too. No judgment here, right? We've all done that before. So let's dive in and let's get started. Starting off with the sign of Cancer. Cancer, this week it's all about reset. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or in a situationship, or flat out emotionally exhausted from everyone, this energy is wanting you to hit the pause button and reevaluate the emotional contracts that you may have signed, either verbally or just energetically, right? And yes, that does include the ones that you never really meant to agree to, but somehow you ended up emotionally financing those relationships anyway. If you're single, someone from your past or a karmic clone, copy, echo of them is circling around in your energy, but be clear. This is not the universe trying to send you the one. It is a divine pop quiz. Have you actually healed, or do you still fall for the same old emotional packaging just because it looks or feels familiar? If you feel pulled towards someone new this week, dig deeper. What are they mirroring back to you? If it's loneliness or boredom, then that is your cue to sit with yourself and not slide into some other another emotional entanglement. If you're in a relationship, then this is the week for you to renegotiate the unspoken rules of your relationship. What have you been tolerating out of habit or out of fear of rocking the boat? Communication is being highlighted, but don't expect softness. This is a week for real talk. Say what you need, not just what you think that they want to hear. And if they can't meet you there, then that's tea. That's information for you, so pay attention. If you're in a complicated situation, you're about to see something that finally breaks the illusion. Maybe it's a message, a slip up, or a sudden shift in their energy. Either way, don't rationalize it away. This is clarity for you, so use it. Your higher self is trying to pull you out of some soul-draining loop that you may not have realized was still running. Friendships and family connections may also feel a bit edgy this week, so be mindful of who drains you versus who is pouring into you. Just because it's family or history, that doesn't mean that it's healthy. There's nothing wrong with you loving someone from a distance if up close is way too expensive for you emotionally speaking. The biggest red flag for you to watch out for this week is people who make you feel like you're asking for too much just because you require emotional reciprocity. The biggest green flag is emotional safety. The person who calms your nervous system, not the one who keeps it guessing. And your power move for this week is set the new emotional terms. No more paying full price for half effort love. Sorry, say that 10 times fast. Okay, Pisces. Pisces, this week, love is testing your intuition versus your illusion radar. And let's be honest, you've let a few people swim in your emotional waters who really don't deserve to be there. But now you're not in the mood to play lifeguard anymore. If you're single, the universe is putting you in discernment training, so to speak. That magnetic pull you're feeling, it might not be soulmate energy. It could just be trauma recognition. Not all chemistry is divine alignment. Someone may flirt with you heavy this week, but if they're vague, inconsistent, or too polished to be real, don't fall for the performance. You're done with chasing potential. They need to come already potential, right? If you are in a relationship, something needs to be said, but you might be trying to avoid the confrontation, but don't. Emotional clarity is so much better than emotional buildup. This is the week to clear the fog. Speak from your soul, not just from your sensitivity. If they love you for real, then they're going to lean in, they're going to listen. And if not, they're going to back away. If you are in some situationship, in limbo, that limbo's turning into a lesson. You're either going to get some progress or proof in the relationship. But this time, you're finally going to believe what it is that you see. No more second guessing yourself just because you're emotionally invested. The fantasy is fading, and it's fading fast. And you're seeing who they really are, not just who you had hoped that they would be. When it comes to platonic and family dynamics, those might also trigger your boundaries. Someone may try to guilt trip you or play the victim when you say no. So hold the line, right? Just because you feel for people, that doesn't mean that you owe them unlimited access. The biggest red flag for you this week for you to watch out for is anyone who feeds off of your empathy, but they're not pouring anything back into you. The biggest green flag is emotional presence, the one who hears you the first time with no decoding required. And your power move for the week is honor your intuition, even when it breaks your heart a little, because ignoring it will break your spirit even more. Okay, Scorpio. Scorpio, this week you're holding the mirror, and everyone in your orbit is about to get a good look at themselves, whether they are ready for it or not. If you're single, you're exuding that quiet magnetic power that makes people curious. But the catch is that not everyone drawn to you actually deserves access to you. Someone may test the waters, but their energy feels a bit slippery, a bit slimy. If they're being charming but emotionally evasive, don't waste your depth on their shallowness. You're not here to rehabilitate lost souls. You're here to match with someone who can meet you in the deep end and stay there. If you're in a relationship, the energy this week pulls out all the secrets to the surface. That doesn't automatically mean betrayal, but it does mean that something needs to be addressed. If you've been biting your tongue, don't. No more. Say what you know. If your gut has been whispering, listen. You're not crazy. You're just super connected. And your connection deserves truth more than it needs peace. And if you're in a situationship with some gray area, right, that gray is starting to turn black and white. The person who couldn't decide what they wanted may suddenly show you exactly where you stand in the relationship. And be forewarned, it might sting a bit. But don't panic. You needed this clarity. This is the emotional release that you didn't even know you were praying for. Friendships and family ties could get a bit intense. Jealousy or possessiveness may show up, especially if someone feels like you're pulling back your energy from them. And you are, and rightfully so. You're done being emotionally available to people who only value you when you're convenient to them. The biggest red flag for you to watch out for this week is passive aggression dressed up as concern. The biggest green flag for you is emotional accountability, the one who owns their part without deflecting or defending. And your power move for this week is to burn the old emotional contracts. You don't owe anyone consistency, especially if all they've ever given you is confusion. Okay, moving to the sign of Aries. Aries, this week is not about who wants you. It's about who can handle you. Let's be real. Your energy is not for the faint of heart. And lately, you've been making it way too easy for people who have not earned access to your fire. If you are single, you're coming in hot. And so are the distractions. Someone might pop up trying to match your energy, but the truth of the matter is that they're performing. It looks like chemistry. Maybe it feels a bit like chemistry, but it smells like chaos. And before you respond, ask yourself, do they want to build with you, or are they just bored and looking for a thrill? You deserve someone who matches your pace and who matches your purpose. If you're in a relationship, this is your week to take control, but not in that my way or the highway kind of way. You're being asked to lead with maturity, not just dominance. If there has been tension, do not escalate it. Initiate a grown-up conversation, set the tone. If they match it, great. If not, that is your actual clarity. No more emotional tug of war just to keep the peace with people. If you're in a situationship, we'll say, then here's the deal. That vagueness is not sexy anymore. It's actually becoming quite draining. You'll feel a strong urge this week to lay it all out and demand an answer. And honestly, you really should. Not to force an outcome, but to stop wasting your emotional bandwidth on someone who is still unsure while you're already 10 steps ahead. With family and friends, those dynamics may test your patience. Someone might project their own indecisiveness or envy onto you. So stay cool and don't dim your light. This week favors directness with discipline. Say what needs to be said, then keep it moving. The biggest red flag for you to watch out for this week is love bombing with no actual follow through. The green flag for you is someone who gives you peace without making you shrink. And the power move for this week is don't chase, don't convince, and don't compete. You are the storm and the shelter, so act like it. All right, stepping into the sign of Leo. Leo, this week, you're not just attracting attention, you're actually attracting some tests. And the universe is watching to see if you're going to fall for flattery or finally demand consistency. If you're single, someone is watching you from the sidelines, possibly flirting or circling around you in some subtle ways. But let's be honest, it is actually giving breadcrumb energy. You're not here for half-hearted pursuits. If they want you, if they want access to you, then they better come correct. This week is all about remembering that attention is not affection and validation is not value. If someone is coming in fast and loud, but disappears the moment that you stop entertaining them, block them, bless them, and keep on glowing. If you're in a relationship, you might be craving more passion or acknowledgement, and that's valid. Just don't start a fire to prove a point. Instead, say what you need, then watch what it is that they do. This is less about their words and more about their capacity and their actions. Are they showing up for you in a way that feels balanced, or are you performing for love while they sit back and just watch? If you're in a situationship or some undefined dynamic, it's about to get real clear. A situation may trigger your pride, but also your power. Someone may try to downplay their connection to you or keep you on standby. Don't think so. This is your reminder that you are the main character and not anyone's backup plan. This week is your cue to walk away from emotional limbo like it's beneath you, because it is. A family and friendship energy. I don't know why I started thinking in Spanish. Energia, I don't know. Anyways, that energy may also hit a soft spot or a sensitive spot, especially if someone expects you to overextend just to keep the peace. You don't owe anyone emotional labor in exchange for being liked. Respect over reputation every single time. Your biggest red flag to watch out for this week is ego games that mask emotional immaturity. The biggest green flag is someone who sees you clearly and still chooses to show up fully for you. And your power move is to love without shrinking, demand without apologizing, and shine without explanation. Okay, moving on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, this week you're being asked to check the difference between freedom and avoidance. Yes, you are a free spirit, but when it comes to love, you're learning that some forms of freedom are just cleverly disguised fear of emotional accountability. If you're single, someone may catch your eye, but take a second look. What do they really represent? This connection could feel like excitement, but it might be another distraction wrapped up in charm. You're being invited to raise your standards, not your hopes. Look for depth, not just dopamine. If the conversation does not evolve past surface level flirtation, don't waste your time, your energy, your light, your soul on it. And if you're in a relationship, your independence might be clashing with your partner's emotional needs or vice versa. You're not wrong for needing space, but if you've been dodging deeper conversations or skating around an issue, it's going to catch up to you. This week is asking for clarity, not compromise of self, but also not selfishness. Balance your truth with tact. If you are in a situationship or like an on and off connection, it's time to ask the hard question. What am I actually building here? Because being unattached doesn't mean that you're not invested. And this week may hit you with a wake-up call about where your energy is really going. If they can't give you clarity, give yourself the closure you might need. With friendships and family, those relationships could stir up some inner conflict, especially if someone feels that you're emotionally unavailable or just hard to read. Don't over-explain, just own your truth. Not everyone deserves backstage access to your process. You don't have to explain yourself to everyone. The biggest red flag for you to watch out for this week would be situationships with no emotional substance, but just enough chemistry to keep you stuck. The biggest green flag is someone who respects your independence and invites you into emotional intimacy without pressure. And your power move is to stop entertaining people who romanticize your light, but refuse to meet you in the shadows. Yeah. Okay, so moving on to Gemini. Gemini, this week the mask slips off and it's yours and theirs. You're being asked to get brutally honest about what you're feeling, what you're avoiding, and who is actually worth your emotional investment. If you're single, someone may enter your space with a lot of words, but very little substance. Don't get caught up in the mental gymnastics. Just because someone stimulates your mind doesn't mean that they're qualified for your heart. The person who is meant for you won't keep you guessing. If they're playing the game of maybe, shut it down. You've entertained indecision before, and look where that got you. We're not doing that again, Gemini. If you're in a relationship, emotional transparency is a non-negotiable for this week. If you've been biting your tongue to keep the vibe light, just stop. You need to be met with maturity, not just banter. This is a time for real dialogue. No sugarcoating, no deflecting. If your partner can't hold space for your truth, then that is a bigger problem than any argument you could ever have. If you are in a situationship or some back and forth dynamic, expect things to come to a head. A pattern that you've been ignoring or explaining away is about to repeat itself one last time. And this time you'll see it for what it is. It is a loop, a cycle. Yeah. It's not even a lesson. You've learned the lesson. Choose to break it. The emotional clarity that you've been seeking won't come from them. It's actually going to come from finally choosing yourself. Friendships and family bonds may also hit a nerve, especially if someone close to you has been inconsistent or emotionally manipulative. Do not rationalize it just because you understand where they're coming from. Understanding is not the same thing as tolerating. The biggest red flag for you to watch out for this week is mixed signals used as a control tactic. The biggest green flag for you is emotional fluency, the one who listens and responds with clarity, not confusion. Your power move for this week is own your duality, but stop giving both versions of you to people who don't even value one. Okay, Libra. Libra, this week the scale tips, not just in love, but in how you evaluate love. You're no longer interested in appearances, in charm, or in promises. You want proof, and the universe is setting the stage for that shift. If you are single, Someone may approach you with all the right words, but your spirit knows better. That inner hesitation, don't ignore it. This is the week to trust energy over effort. Someone might check your aesthetic boxes, but leave your emotional tank on E. That is not a partner, that is a placeholder. Don't let flattery trick you into entertaining someone who can't meet you where you truly are. And if you are in a relationship, the dynamics around reciprocity and fairness come front and center. And over giving just to keep the peace is no longer an option. So you need to evaluate that. Are your needs being heard or just tolerated? This week wants you to rebalance the scales, but not by asking, by making adjustments. If your partner has been coasting on your emotional labor, then they're about to feel the shift. If you're in a murky connection, meaning a situationship, clarity is coming, but it might not be comfortable. Someone may reveal themselves through inaction, avoidance, or a failure to show up when it really matters. Don't spin this. Don't sugarcoat this. See it, accept it, and decide accordingly. You do not need to beg for effort. Either they're building with you or they're benefiting from you, and you'll know which one it is by around midweek. When it comes to family and friendship dynamics, those might also hit on your boundaries. You've outgrown people pleasing, and this week might show you how deeply that habit still lingers in old relationships. So protect your peace, not just your image. The biggest red flag to watch out for is performative effort with no follow through. The biggest green flag for you is someone who gives without having to ask, because they've been paying attention. And your power move is rebalance your heart by remembering this. Harmony is sacred, but not at the expense of your truth. Sorry, my battery looks like it wants to go out there. Okay, moving on to Aquarius. Aquarius, this week, emotional detachment will not protect you. It is actually going to expose you. You're being called to do something uncomfortable. Feel it, not analyze it, not fix it, just feel it. If you're single, your usual observe before you invest strategy is running out of usefulness. You've kept your standards high, but your heart is so out of reach. Now, someone might show up with real potential, and the question is, will you let them in, or will you just keep them orbiting you emotionally while you pretend not to care? If you want something deeper, you're going to have to be willing to be seen. If you're in a relationship, you're feeling the tension between autonomy and intimacy. Maybe you've been pulling back emotionally, or maybe they have, but either way, something feels a bit off. This week, don't intellectualize it, just address it, speak the unspoken. The person who is meant for you won't be scared off by your truth. They will be relieved that you finally said it. If you're in a situationship or an inconsistent connection, this week reveals whether it is growth or just games. You've outgrown vague love languages and digital breadcrumbs. If the communication is cold, indirect, or that hot and cold dynamic, don't chase clarity, just create it. Ask the real questions, create the real answers, and be prepared to walk if it's anything less than mutual. Friendships and family ties may hit an emotional blind spot. Someone might expect emotional access without emotional accountability. So say no to any guilt that you may feel as a result of this. You're not here to be emotionally responsible for grown adults who refuse to grow up. The biggest red flag for you to watch out for this week is emotionally unavailable people who want the benefits of your presence without the vulnerability of a true connection. The biggest green flag for the week is emotional bravery. The one who doesn't just say the right thing, but means it with their actions. And your power move for this week is let your heart speak. Your mind will definitely catch up. Okay, jumping into the sign of Taurus. So Taurus, this week it's about emotional value. Who is investing in you and who is just enjoying the benefits of your consistency without offering anything real in return. If you're single, there may be someone orbiting your energy who wants you, but they don't really know how to step to you properly. Don't entertain halfway effort just to pass the time. You're not a placeholder. If they're showing interest but keeping it vague, then keep it moving. This week is about protecting your peace and your standards. Wait for the one who sees your worth without needing to test it first. If you are in a relationship, there is some underlying tension that may bubble up, especially around unmet needs that you've been way too patient about. You are not needy, you're honest. And if your emotional support has started to feel one-sided, then you're being guided to speak up, not shut down. You don't need drama, but you do need depth. Have the real conversation. If they love you like they say that they do, then they'll meet you there. If you're in a situationship, an undefined on and off dynamic, then this week is likely to reveal what has been what's been real and what has been just comfortable. Someone may show you through silence, delay, or avoidance that they don't have the range to go where you're going. So take that as your confirmation, not as heartbreak. What's fading out right now is making space for something that actually honors your energy. In friendships and family relationships, be mindful of those people that like to guilt trip you. If someone suddenly needs you after ignoring your boundaries, do not let sentimentality override self-respect. You're allowed to protect your emotional resources. The biggest red flag for you to watch out for this week is emotional entitlement. People who expect you to be steady while they remain unstable. Your biggest green flag for the week is consistency without having to beg for it. And your power move is to stop giving loyalty to people who haven't really earned your softness. Let your boundaries speak louder than your apologies. Okay, moving on to the sign of Capricorn. So Capricorn, this week, you are drawing a hard emotional line in the sand, and not out of anger, but out of self-respect. The version of you that used to overfunction, I guess, in relationships, they're officially retired. You're done with that. If you're single, someone may come in looking promising to you, but if their effort is inconsistent or their energy feels more like a project than a partnership, you'll see it fast. And for once, you will not try to fix it or make excuses for it. This week, you are choosing alignment over attachment. If they cannot meet you at your level, it is a hard pass. It is a no. Keep it moving and do not look back. If you're in a relationship, something needs rebalancing. You've been doing the emotional heavy lifting, but this time you're not carrying both sides. If your partner has been distant, distracted, or dropping the ball, this is the week for you to stop tolerating silence and start requesting truth. You're not cold, you're being clear. And clarity is what keeps love alive, not guessing games. If you're in a situationship or some undefined dynamic, the pressure is building. You've been patient, you've been observant, and let's be honest, you have been way more emotionally invested than you've let on. But now it is decision time. Not for them, but for you. Their ambiguity isn't a puzzle to solve. It is a statement, and you're finally ready to respond in kind by detaching from what is draining you. When it comes to friendships and family relationships, this week may bring tension around emotional expectations. Someone may act offended that you're not showing up the way that you used to back in the day. Remember the time? But what they're really reacting to is your boundaries. So stay firm. You're not being selfish. You are preserving your capacity, your bandwidth, right? The biggest red flag for you to watch out for this week is people who only value you when you're overextending yourself. Your biggest green flag is consistent, emotionally mature energy that supports you without asking you to prove your worth first. And your power move for this week is to lead with emotional integrity. Let go of anyone who confuses your silence for permission. And jumping into the sign of Virgo. Virgo, this week, you're not looking for perfection, you're looking for peace. And if anyone in your love life cannot offer that, their time in your life and your energy is expiring. If you're single, you may feel the urge to retreat, and that's not a bad thing. This isn't about giving up on love. It's about no longer pursuing connections that feel like emotional chores. You're being guided to pause, to clear the mental clutter, and to reset your romantic expectations based on your current self, not your past patterns. Someone may show some interest, but if they come with confusion, you won't bite, and you should not. Okay? If you're in a relationship, small cracks in communication might feel bigger this week, but that's a gift. You're seeing the subtle ways that your needs go unmet when you don't speak up. Stop editing yourself just to keep things smooth. If they love you, then they will listen. And if they don't, you will know exactly what to do. You're not asking for too much. You're actually asking for mutual emotional responsibility and support. If you are in a situationship, then this is your wake-up call. Someone has been benefiting from your emotional availability while refusing to define the connection, and that ends now. You've waited long enough. Watch how they react when you stop explaining and just withdraw. Their silence or resistance will tell you everything that you ever needed to know, and your peace will confirm it. With friendships and family relationships, those may also ask you to reestablish boundaries. Just because you're the one who always has it together, that doesn't mean that you are emotionally available for everyone else's chaos 24/7. Say no if you need to. You don't owe anyone access to you, especially if they drain you. The biggest red flag for you to watch out for this week is people who downplay your emotions because they're just so used to your strength. The biggest green flag for the week is emotional clarity without having to over-explain. And your power move for this week is prioritize your peace over performance. The right people won't need perfection. They just need your presence. Alrighty, so that wraps up the love and relationship forecast for this week. If something hit you deep, confirmed what your intuition already knew that you knew, or called you out just a little bit, don't be shy. Hit that like button, leave a comment, and make sure that you are subscribed. And speaking of comments, I want to hear from you. Which part of your love life are you no longer willing to negotiate this week? And what boundary are you finally setting? So let me know down below. And remember, these forecasts are here to empower your clarity, not to sugarcoat your confusion. Yeah. If you want early access to next week's forecasts, become a channel member today and unlock a growing vault of exclusive videos, bonus content, and real spiritual gain that actually supports your journey. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, move with love, but lead with clarity. This is Misty. I hope you have a beautiful and fantabulous rest of your day. Bye now. Mwah.